You know what? This was just for you, Preach.
If I don't know you, then why?
Please stop interrupting me. The thing is, I would have never done this to somebody that I love. When I got down on one knee, again, I got interrupted. And if
I don't know you, then why?
So this went viral because like a lot of people were saying like, oh my God, look how this guy is. He's being abusive. And then they're obviously on a show where they're kind of getting separated. And I wanted to know, how do you feel when you having that experience?
I feel like it's a trick question. I feel like it's a trick question. So I'm going to plead the fifth. All right? This bitch right here, this motherfucker.
Order. We do not accept you pleading the fifth. There's nothing incriminating in this question.
Manipulation.
The court demands that you answer the question.
Manipulation.
Or we will hold you in contempt for violating the courts.
I don't feel any kind of way. Poor thing. How do you feel, Abba?
If I'm answering honestly, I mean, I don't even think this is like an inside joke just between us. Personally, I can answer seriously, but I'm going to give you a chance if you want to.
She's doing that because it works. It's not her fault. Society told her that worked. Sometimes you want to talk and then you're constantly getting cut off. And at some point you snap. And he didn't yell at her. He just said, yo, stop. I don't find that she was being that abusive. I don't feel so. But if she cries, it's going to work. The direction of the issue is not going to no longer going to be voiced about what he has to say, but it's on what she's feeling right now.
Yeah.
I remember a couple of times Abba said to me, oh, shit, Preach, you got a lot of female friends. I don't get it. How the fuck do you do it? Sometimes that shit can happen where if you voice an issue, you have to navigate through the person how they felt about what you said, not about what you said. The situation shift. If ever I bring up a problem with you, like, oh, this is, when you said that back there, like I have a problem with it, and then you start crying.
Well,
now we're no longer talking about that.
You were very disrespectful with the way that you came at me when you said that. And I've been angry the whole week since.
Oh my God, but hey, how do I feel? How do I feel when you say that? And then we're no longer talking about the issue that he brought up. We're talking about how that person felt about the issue that he brought up. And it's like, ugh, it can be so tiring. That guy, when he went...
Again, I got interrupted.
When she's not even talking, but he's being cut off by her crying.
It's a short clip, but I remember when I saw it, it was just so endemic to so many situations I lived in my life where someone had done something that was hurtful or wrong. And when I, not in the most soft way, but very directly kind of start to call that out, all of a sudden the conversation shifts to her reaction rather than what she did wrong. And then I'm wrong for not caring because I will not decide to put my feelings or the fact that I'm hurt second to the fact that you're upset by me calling out your real behavior. And it's a frustrating thing. And I think gender does play a part into this because I think as men, we're expected to prioritize that kind of emotional experience for a lady over what we're feeling ourselves. And genuinely, this makes you want to shut the fuck up. It makes you want to never bring up your grievances because every time I bring up my grievances and I try to open up in that way, what I'm met with is your reaction. And then that becomes center stage. So it tells me I'm not important or what I feel is not important. So then I'm just not going to bring it up.
And guys do that as well. It's just that they don't cry. In a dynamic, let's say in your relationship, guys do the same thing, but they don't cry. For example, if a woman brings something up and he's going to bring, yeah, but you did that. And you did. It's always about whataboutism, stuff like that. Like, okay, women, they cry because that works. Like they're gonna get attention. So it's not. I'm not saying that they're faking when they're crying. I'm saying that if all your life you've been told, hey, you know what, that works, they're gonna go through that instinctively. When you have a problem, you don't want to look at you, and then you fling it back to the other person, which is not predictive. You know what I mean?
I'll say though, it is different in this regards, and this comes to gender experience. It's kind of like when a woman hits a dude. Like it's bad, but no one's gonna care.
It's not
if
bad.
a man in
It's
a
not
hitting
bad.
conversation hits a girl, like even if it's equally as strong, it's always exponentially worse. And what I'm trying to say is like a woman crying in front, like, let's say we're having this argument in front of others or we're having this disagreement in front of others. If she starts crying, I'm expected to put myself second for her tears. That's different. And it's not just even in the company of other people, even in private, I'm expected because if I'm not protecting her. It's almost so unfair to have to protect somebody when you want to address something in the ways that they're hurting you. And all it tells you that there's this hierarchy. The hierarchy is that when it comes to a lot of these emotional situations, I'm expected to put myself second at all times if you are feeling some type of way. And it is very insidious because it just has this nefarious effect of being like, the first couple times it's just like, okay, I'm going to do the thing I'm supposed to do because I love you. But then when it happens on a repetition, you build resentment. And then you get to the place where you're just indifferent. And then you look like a piece of shit. Then you look like a garbage-ass person because your partner crying and you don't give a fuck. And you, sir, you're misogynistic with the wave cap looking ass. Oh, you're a piece of shit.
That's me. That's me. No, that's me. Because it has happened a couple of times when the person started crying. And when I see that happen, this is what I do. No, because I'm going to let you do your thing, and we're going to have to get that out of the way. So in my mind, if I go and be like, oh, and cover the person, I'm feeding that shit. So there's no contact. There's no like, oh, no. It's going to be like, finish what you got to do your thing, live your life, and brush it off. Okay. And then we're going to have a conversation. And it's crazy that I think like that because I have the same way of dealing with kids. When they're having a tantrum, I'm gonna look at you and let you finish your tantrum, and then we're gonna have a conversation. Remember that video of that dad that came out of the Walmart with his daughter, and she crying, and he put the daughter on the hood and be like, okay, no, we're gonna be out here and we're gonna have a moment. No, everything is fine, ma'am. We just Mrs. having an issue, so we're just gonna deal with that. And I kind of do the same thing, and I don't want to be like a father figure or blah blah blah. It's not even that. It's that for tantrums is the best way to deal with certain stuff. Same way with when there's a crisis and the person's losing it. Either I'm gonna restrain the person or leave her over there to have, because you're affecting the situation and we cannot deal with the situation. You're losing it right now. So have your tantrum, do your thing, yell, whatever. And when you're gonna be able to rejoin the group, maybe it's because maybe I got kindergarten syndrome where my teachers used to do that. They'd be like, okay, no, time out. Go over there. When you're going to be able to rejoin the group, you will. Because right now we cannot have a conversation. And I can't deal with that.
Someone wrote in the comments, they're both wrong in my opinion. And I'm like, if your partner starts to vent a frustration and you start crying and your expectation is I'm going to stop venting my frustration because you're crying, you're in the wrong. You need to hold yourself in check to allow them a space to talk about what they feel. If you immediately become a priority when I'm trying to say how you're hurting me, I'm not wrong. And I'm not wrong for wanting to prioritize that every time. They're not both in the wrong. She's in the wrong. If you feel a frustration, you should have the space to be able to say it. And I should not have to prioritize your reaction. That's not reasonable. And someone said, oh, but that's just part of being in a relationship. It has nothing to do with being in a relationship. You could have that experience with a fucking stranger, and that's the expectation. I've told the story before of me being in the military. And I lived in PMQs where I lived with both men and women, but women were stuck to one room, men were stuck into their own rooms, okay? Mm-hmm. One of the women had some kind of experience with somebody in her room. I don't know. I'm in the living room downstairs. She comes down, she starts losing her mind and asks me to get involved. I'm like, I don't know anybody. Just leave me out of it. I want to watch my fucking telenovela. Y'all do your thing because I was not there. I didn't see or hear nothing. I'm just hearing what you're telling me. She got upset at me because I wouldn't react to something I never saw or heard. Military police comes up. They start this whole investigation. I have to be put on leave for some time, and I'm confused. I was watching a telenovela. I remember it. It was called Masabe el Diablo. Hey. I don't speak a lick of Spanish. Go look that bitch up.
All right? Just see our faces to understand what's going on.
And Manuela, okay? I never forget it. This fucking show is etched into my brain because of this experience, okay? Because I had to write in the fucking statements the name of the show I was watching.
You know that you ain't got nothing to do in the PMQs if you're watching fucking telenovelas, man.
Netflix didn't exist in 2010.
I know.
Okay?
I know.
So I'm watching a telenovela.
So just for additional context, the two women who lived in the room, the one who had come to me and complained was about like 38 years old. And the other one was 22, and she was apparently dating the guy with whom her roommate had an issue. Now, the story that she told me was that the girl wasn't present and this guy kind of just barged into the room And she's like, I wasn't naked or anything, but it was inappropriate. And I was like, all right, go file a complaint. You know what I mean? Like, what do you... But because I wasn't jumping out of my seat, that's when she started losing it. I was 20 years old, confused, didn't get under anything. And this lady's just like just losing it. And I don't know her. I might have spoken to her once in my life. And she's like really mad at me. And at the time, I'm like, I don't know. And when she started screaming, because that's when things got very crazy, I was sitting on the couch the whole time. She was about maybe like 15, 20 feet towards the entrance of the door. And the way the kind of living room worked was that the television set was right in the middle, and there was a backyard door that linked to the other PMQ. And so the backyard area is where the smokers stood. And the only reason I felt pretty safe and comfortable with this woman screaming, because she was like howling and crying hysterically away from me, was that there were smokers who heard the screams and saw me sitting with the remote in my hand, and I was just like, what's happening? So they were able to attest to the fact that I didn't move from my seat an inch. And it was a really confusing situation. And I think now with like hindsight looking back, I imagine maybe this lady had something happen to her past and she was just hypersensitive. I don't really know.
And this happens, and I have to deal with like all kinds of bullshit. And then one day my sergeant pulls me into the meeting, and he's like, I read your statement. We went through the police reports. We see that you didn't do anything. I was like, well, obviously I was never close to her. They wanted me to apologize. They wanted me to apologize.
You just told me that.
And I asked why, and they said because there was something unfolding in front of you and you didn't have the right response. And I'm just thinking to myself, I could just exist. I have nothing witnessed. And because I didn't jump out of my seat to be like, oh, I'm being written up and I'm being punished for it. And there's a lot of situations like that. I think as humans, we're instinctively going to try to protect a woman if we see her crying. Doesn't matter what the context is. Doesn't matter what we know. It's always that. I'm talking about that aspect. The fact that as a society, we think we always have to prioritize what we perceive as a distressed party over everything else. And in a relationship, it can be very well weaponized, whether intentional or unintentional. Because I actually think a lot of ladies do get genuinely upset when they hear how they're hurting somebody else. I think it's a real emotion that they're experiencing. But it fucking sucks that I can't live what the fuck I'm thinking because you're experiencing that. When I saw this interaction, listen, I don't know their dynamic. Maybe this guy's a piece of shit. I'm not here to defend him or not.
You don't know.
But I'm just saying what it reflected in my own life experience and what I've remembered experiencing and how the reaction to this came out.
Did you apologize?
Fuck no. It was like one of the precursors to me leaving. I was so offended. It scarred the shit out of me. Nah, I don't want to talk about it, bro.
Don't talk. Yeah, you don't need to.
But it's just no, I didn't.
It
To be on
is
principle,
what
I
it
couldn't do
is.
it. Someone said, why didn't you help, though? What help am I going to offer? I didn't see nothing. I didn't hear nothing. She was asking me to get involved to write up. I don't know anything.
And the way
she just didn't believe that I didn't know anything. But my nigga, I'm sitting in the living room just watching the show. I don't know. I didn't hear nothing. I only know something happened because she was telling me. And I was like, okay, well, what do you want? Go talk to the MPs.
I'm not gonna believe you.
Go talk to the military police. What do you want me to get involved? I didn't see nothing. I'm not gonna lie for you. It's like, and she started crying hysterically after I said that, and then she focused on me, and I was confused the whole time. Dude, I'm sitting on the couch just watching TV.
And the same way that she was lying about you, I don't know what the hell then you're saying about that other situation. The way that she's handled your situation with you, she's a weirdo. So.
She ended up getting kicked out of the military for like mental instability.
Oh, no shit.
She did. I only heard that from one of my boys who ended up staying in, but like just the idea that the military apparatus just fucking switched on a dime. And it's not to say like the military is always defending, but like, listen, the military does a lot to cover up sexual assault and stuff.
100%.
I'm not retarded where I'm like, I had this one experience, so like, oh, this. No. I'm just trying to explain to you the dynamic that people have when they react to people's tears specifically and what the expectation is. That's all. So I think that pretty much covers this topic.